All right. All right, cool. So for context for everybody who's watching this, I want to introduce you to a man that actually transformed my life for the better. Maybe he'll tell us a little bit more about his story, but I'll give you some context to tell you about why I'm so excited about this particular interview is somewhere around 2020, November, I started seeing his ads on Facebook as many probably have. And I saw his ads and I don't know what hit me at the time, but um, at the time in my life, there was just so much chaos happening mentally. My life wasn't really radically out of control, but it was mental. A lot of these things that were just kind of internal that were just tormenting me. And I saw the ad and I was like, oh man, I don't want to go. That was actually the first time I really got real sick that I signed up for his program. I signed up for your program and I actually didn't go the first date that you
Mm.
guys recommended at the time, whoever was selling me the package. I didn't get to go because I got like deathly ill with the flu, which I hadn't gotten in years. And so I couldn't go to the first initial one. But then I went to, I don't remember exactly the date, but I know it was sometimes November or October 2020, too. And the reason why I say that is because that was like a radical transformation for me specifically. And I had never experienced what you guys have put together. I've experienced some experiences, but nothing like you guys have created. And so the man I want to introduce you to is Mr. Skylar Lewis. So Skylar, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and background.
Yeah, no, grateful to be here, man. And good to see you again also. And I enjoy seeing your posts online. Uh, so yeah, a little bit about myself. I love Jesus. I am focused on making an impact on people's lives at the highest level possible. I'm married, been married for 15 years and have two boys, 10 and 13, and love business, love entrepreneurship. One of my skill sets is scaling and growth and systemization. So yeah, I had built a company, had ended up selling that company, and so now my full-time focus is just is helping men, specifically men, level up and become the best versions of themselves.
I love that. So, you told me a little bit, and the reason why I really loved your story and I resonated with this is because the way your mind works is kind of like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong this way, but like you operationalize a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like you compartmentalize and process a lot of the things out that is kind of vague, and sometimes there's not clear answers to. So, if you don't mind, what was your background even before? Like now you do Rise Up Kings, which helps transform men and transcend them to the next level in their life, which helped me tremendously. And I'll just briefly say, like the four pillars that you guys talked about, I use that every single day. Every single day I do that for myself. Now I do it for my son, which is phenomenal. Like every morning, our core four, we have the core four every morning we do, for him. Specifically, it's because I homeschool him now, but we do like prayer in the morning. We brush his teeth, obviously, and do the normal things. Exercise every single day and also check his calendar for the day because that's one thing that has radically transformed my life is having a calendar. I didn't even
Mm.
realize how important that was until like I'll just briefly give this away, like since working with you guys, like changing me helped transform our business. So like in 2022 we didn't have a business really. Last month we did $1 million cash collected.
There we go, dude. Way
The
to
lives we
go.
changed. Yeah, the lives we changed for that. And the month before that we did $650,000 cash collected.
Mm.
And the reason is because one, obviously, like we all got better, but internally, a lot of the things got better. So, what was your like history before Rise Up Kings, and even before that, the business? I think it was sanitation. Am I right?
Yeah, we had a so basically I grew up in a small town called Hemet, California, lower on the socioeconomic scale on the ladder. We were towards the bottom, so lower middle income. And so we used to go to food banks all the time. And so I just had this vision of wanting to be successful. I figured that would, if I could build some kind of successful business, be an entrepreneur, that would be my path out. So I started a lot of different businesses as a teenager, tons of different stuff, and eventually none of them went real big. I got my real estate license when I was 18, did financial services. I was a financial advisor when I was like 22. Then eventually got in when I was about 24 years old. I started a carpet cleaning company. And so we started to scale. Me and Jessica, I met my wonderful wife. We started scaling this carpet cleaning company. Within 2 years, we were the top carpet cleaning company in the area, and then moved into restoration and started growing that. And so I got it to the place where we were doing about 4 million a year. I think a couple years after that, maybe when I was 26, 27. And so 27, 28 actually, we had done 4 million in revenue. We had netted 1.5 million, 1.4 million, which was the most we had ever netted of net income, paid 700,000 in taxes that year. California's very high income tax.
Crazy.
And so I hit this plateau where I had achieved the life that I wanted. I had done everything that I wanted, yet it just left me unfulfilled. And
Mm-hmm.
so I finally hit the level of success and stature that I thought would make me happier, help me not feel insecure,
Mm-hmm.
but it was really just meaningless. And so it set me into a funk, and I just went on a journey of personal development, personal growth. I started working on my habits and my daily routines, and like my business success was there, but my family life and my struggle with lust was still showing up in my life. I hadn't refined those other areas. So yeah, dude, went on a journey of heavy personal development, very secular, but still learned a lot of good things until I eventually got a pathway that I built for myself that was really clear, really effective. The four pillars: faith, family, fitness, finances. And I focused on those four pillars every single day, brought other guys together with me. And then that was very transformational. But before that, though, before I got to that point, I had brought a coach in because the business was so challenging, so difficult to run, the team members, the systems, everything. I brought a guy
You're
in.
saying this new one, the Rise Up King, or the other
No,
one?
no, no, Superior Restoration. So as we
Okay,
were
Restoration.
growing it, after I hit that plateau,
Right.
dove back in the business, but then I'm like, you know what? It's a mess. I'm done with this thing. So I brought in a guy to help me sell it. And he met with the team, he met with me, and after about a week, he came and he met with me and he said, "Hey, Skylar," he's like, I think I found the problem." He said, "You're the problem." He said, "You're the problem with the whole business." I said, "Are you kidding me? I'm paying like $8,000 a month. Like I'm not the main problem." He's like, "You are the main problem. It's the way you lead. It's the way you systemize or lack of systemization. You're showing up late to meetings. You're forgetting things. And so he basically called me out. And so I had to do a lot of work on learning how to run a business the right way and the effective way. Even though I had made
Mm.
some profitability, it was chaos. It was still
Yeah.
chaos.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that. And then what got you into the Rise Up? Like, what was that transition, or what was that like moment where you're like, okay, this is a thing for
Yeah, so I
Rise Up King?
finally, yeah, so after I hired him, we worked for about a year in the business. We built out our core values, our mission, our vision, our systems, our one-page plan, our weekly meetings, our leadership team. We built out everything. And so the business started running really well. And then I eventually was like, cool, I think I could go to like 4 days a week. And so I went to 4 days a week. I moved to the beach. I took that day off, one day off every week for a year. And then I'm like, you know what? If I could do 4 days, I bet I could do 3 days and fit all my meetings into 3 days. So I ended up fitting all my meetings into 3 days, and the business actually grew and became more profitable. And so I'm like, you know what? I bet I could do 2 days then. So I did that for a year. Then I did 2 days for a year, squeezed all my meetings, two 10-hour days, killed it. And the
Mm.
business continued growing, continued scaling. And so then COVID hit. And then I brought the business to 1 day a week during COVID. And then I'm like, you know what? If I could do 1 day, I bet I could do 1 hour. And so I actually moved out of the state to Texas, and then started running the business remotely 1 hour a week with my leadership team meeting, and they made all the decisions for the entire business. And yeah, that's kind of how. And so once I got the business to that point, I felt inspired to help other guys get their
Mm.
businesses to those points and to be able to get to a place where they have some freedom in their life, whether or not they work 5 days or 1 day. That doesn't matter. What matters is that they're doing what they love in their business.
Hmm. Hmm. And then how did you know Rise Up Kings was going to be like, how did you guys come up? Because the formula or the format for it, I imagine like when I went to it, I don't know how many iterations you had already gone through to create the experience type that you've done, but the experience that we went that you put us through, it really is an amazing experience. Like the eulogy part thing, like I even remember this to the day. Like I feel the feeling like it's embedded in my soul. Like I know you create that for a reason. How did you
Yep.
guys come up with the curriculum, or what? How many iterations did you guys come to before, you
Yeah,
said
I
this
had
is
just done
it?
a lot of events, so it's a combination of restructuring some of the things that I've been through. I went through some Navy SEAL training, so
Mm,
that's where we did some of the physical aspects of the event. And so
mm,
I just wanted to push. There was something powerful that happens when a guy gets pushed kind of hard.
mm,
Something shifts inside of him, and he starts to open up more. Even he
mm,
reaches a new level of power also. when there's a physical aspect. So I pulled some of the Navy SEAL training that I had done, some of the personal development stuff that I've done, but like reworked the whole thing and really made sure it was had a foundation of faith. And I started to create my mind, just started creating a bunch of neat exercises. So every event, we would do a recap after the event, and then we'd change an exercise, do something new, restructure it. So by the time you came to an event, yeah, it was probably on the like 20th iteration or somewhere in that range. And so we had really refined and tweaked and added and removed a lot of things till we got it to where it could transform a guy in 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you guys have tons of events. Like you have
Yep.
a lot,
We have almost about 60 a year. Yeah, it's a
but
lot.
you have multiple different types of
Different
events.
types
Because
of events, yeah, our marriage events, our 5 days, or yeah, all kinds of a whole journey for people that want to grow.
what's the entry point? Is it that one? Is it
Yeah, it's
refinery?
the
Is the
yeah, for
one?
business owners, it's the refinery. And then for non-business owners, it's the awakening, is what we call that. Then once they
Mm.
go through that, they can go to the forge, which is our 5 day, like crazy impactful experience. And then we have our marriage events also.
Mm. And is the Forge after Refinery Awakening? Both of them
Yep.
go to the same? They both kind of
Yep.
come
Yep.
back to the center?
They funnel
Okay,
into the forge. Yep.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Hmm.
So how did you guys come up with the structure of like how to get men there? Like you just like, okay, I'm just gonna call some dude someday? Or how did you come up with the structure of how you're gonna get people to this event?
How to drive people there. Just the first event was friends, and then the that only lasted so long. Right? I only had so many friends that are willing to go through an event like that. And then we
Yeah,
started doing online marketing. I've always been in the online marketing space ever since I had the carpet cleaning company. We had done a lot of Google and just internet marketing. So we started to do that and really just promote heavily online. And I would say it's more of a God thing. There's no way I
yeah.
can explain having that many people and the right people coming through on a regular basis.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Carpet cleaning. So you must have known Joe Polish back then.
Yep.
Yeah. So he was doing a lot of the carpet cleaning
Yep.
marketing back in the day.
Yep. He
I know
was.
him because of Dean Graciosi, and like that's the
Okay.
one I was introduced to Joe from Dean. So when you said carpet cleaning, I'm like, oh, he must know Joe because Joe was like the guy for carpet cleaning.
Yep. He was the carpet cleaning marketing guy.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And I had some specific questions. I know we're
Sure.
kind of going hot in time here,
Yep.
but
Yep.
how did you align like business and faith? How do you combine the both? Because I
Mm.
know like one of the biggest I'm sure you deal with, like the contention you get is like you can't bring business into faith or faith into business and vice versa. How do you approach that mentally? How did you approach that so you can say, okay, I'm gonna put God first and this is wherever this goes, it's cool.
Yeah, it's just a level of trust that, I mean, first off, it starts with your belief. Whose business is it? Right. And so, if, as a Christian and a man of faith, I believe it's his business. So, if
Mm,
it's his business, how do I want to operate and what's the purpose of it? So, the purpose of all of our businesses is not to glorify ourselves.
mm,
It's not so we can buy a bigger house. That's not the purpose of the business. The purpose of all, if you're a Christian, the purpose of your business is to be able to build something that glorifies God. That's the purpose of it. So that it gives us a platform so we can build something that glorifies him. So that when people look at your business, they go, "Oh man, that wow, the way that guy runs that business is different than other people." And so I started to realize that was the primary purpose. And so I started building it in a way where it was excellent, where it could
mm,
glorify God, or people looked at it and they really like they were curious, hey, you do things different. Like, what's different about you? And so it was my faith. And so I made a big I made so it's that was the mindset that I had. But then I just started treating my employees way different. And so I started
mm,
loving on them, started really integrating. I did employee onboarding meetings, and I would talk and say and share with my new team members, hey, by the way, we built this business on a foundation of faith. So like God's our core of what we're not a Christian company necessarily when I started
mm,
Superior Restoration, but it's hey, we our principles and the way we operate, the way we treat our team members all come from the Bible.
mm,
Is how I shared that. So they realized like, okay, the reason this company is so great, they could always point back to God.
mm. And did you have resistance when you did that?
No,
No.
no.
They were all kind of already part of it.
Yeah, most people don't really resist somebody wanting to bring in faith. Everyone's afraid of it in general, though. I mean, people realize morality comes from faith. So, yeah, well, if you're a poor leader, they may kick back. Or if you've done some stuff that is hypocritical, which everybody has, but if it's very apparent, you may get
Yeah.
a couple cr people that criticize it. But in general, most people are very open to you integrating some of the faith into the culture, as long as you're not forcing them to do a Bible study, forcing them to pray if they don't want to pray. Like as long as you're not forcing anything on them.
Hmm. What have you seen from like you? How many men's like are you? Can you share that? How many men
Yeah,
you've helped
thousands.
like?
It's in the, I think, 3 to 5,000, depending on how, if you consider the events or all of our online programs too. So I'd say up to about 5,000 if you include everything have gone through our in-person programs or our virtual programs.
I got you. So out of 5,000 people, the one thing that I, I, I always do, because we've seen, in the last 18 months or so, we've seen 50,000 tax professionals. And so
Wow,
I'll be a fool to not see
it's great.
patterns, right?
Yep.
And so
Yep.
patterns pop up. And so what do you say is like the top patterns of the most successful men that that come in, maybe not broken, but maybe like curious or not there fully to the people that have actually, really come on the other side and say, I'm successful. Because I met some guys in the refinery where I'm like, on paper, they're super successful. And they come out of it and I'm like, you're back where you were, man. Like, what
Mm.
happened? Like you were great. Like, you had all these opportunities. And I also saw people that were already there and they just wanted to go to the next level in their faith, which is phenomenal. And in their business, which is phenomenal. So do you have any patterns that you've kind of identified as like, all right, these are the key
Yeah,
things that
there's
change?
so many. I'd say a couple of the main ones are guys that are very successful, they execute fast. So they learn something new and they go put it into action right away.
Mm-hmm.
Guys who are not successful, they postpone action. They tend to just lag. Guys that are very successful, they move faster. They move quick in the way they even walk. They walk quick, they
Oh,
talk
really?
quick, they tend to move quicker. They have a faster pace that they operate by. Usually the guys that have created less success, they're just much slower. They just they just walk kind of slow. There's not a sense of urgency. So really successful people, there's a high level of sense of urgency to
Mhm.
go do something.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'd say probably another one would be from the guys that come through our events, the ones that produce a ton of success. Uh, Yeah, are the guys that actually that consume and that learn. So there's
Mm.
guys that will join the program and not do any of the things, and there's guys that will join the program and actually like they'll be on some calls, they'll listen, they'll connect with some guys. So in general, the guys that are willing to like jump on and stay engaged and stay involved will produce more results because they're learning. I'd say some of the most successful people that I've seen are big learners. They're big
Yeah.
learners, right? You like learning. I see you at all kinds of events. Like the guys that are creating success are the ones that are like really focused on learning, but they then go execute all the stuff that they learn.
Mm. Now let me ask you something, and this is kind of a side question.
Yeah,
Do you think because the way I see it is like and I could be wrong, but the thought process I see is like I see that you have success, material success also, but you also have the only way that I could see you doing what you're doing is you have a phenomenal team. Like
yeah,
there's no place that unless I don't know something that you're about to share with me, but
yeah.
I just see a lot of the output and from the other side of someone that operates and pushes a lot um of output, I could see the output from you guys and I'm like, man, that's a phenomenal team. So do you think people are like a great team like that is built or do you find them?
They are well, combination of both.
Mm.
Finding them and
Which one
developing
do
them.
you think would be more which one's like if you're going right now, which one do you look
Finding
for?
them, someone's ability to identify talent and what
Mm.
that align with their core values.
Yeah.
Like I'm masterful at finding talent and then placing them in the right roles.
Mm.
That's one of my giftings. I can see someone that's talented and has the right attitude,
Mm.
where I can tell, like, hey, this guy's driven, they're ambitious, they're focused, they're
Mm.
skillful. Cool, I'm gonna go move them over here and then set it up for success. And
Mm.
and the challenge is though, like to find those people, you have to be a good leader. those really
Mm,
good quality team members, they want a great leader to go follow. And so because I've leveled up my leadership development and my skills, I'm able to attract NFL players. I mean, Green Berets, like the world class like top talent. I'm able to attract because I've continued to level. Like, are you familiar with the Law of the Lid by John
yeah,
Maxwell? Yep.
John Maxwell.
So we really are like we do place the lid on ourselves. So if we're not growing and leveling up our leadership, we're going to cap out the type of people we can hire, and we'll
Mm,
also cap out the type of people that we can grow. We won't be able to
mm,
grow them past our level of ability. So
mm.
that's how I can
Okay.
like right now, Rise of Kings runs on its own pretty much. I built the same thing and I just focus on what I want to do. Teaching
Yeah.
and then content creation and vision and strategy is like my main things, but we have a pretty large organization that's yeah, really runs on its own with the team.
That's phenomenal. Let me see here. I was gonna ask you, yeah, the business and faith. How do you balance, because you have, a lot of things going on, how do you balance your life outside of work, like with your faith and your family? How do you balance that now
Yeah.
versus when you started this? Because,
Yeah.
mine, I'll just give you some context, is like my, and what's interesting about what you guys teach about the four pillars, and most people don't understand the four pillars. Um, I created another pillar, which is focus, right? Without focus, I can't do the others. That was for me. Like the first
Right.
four help me, but if I don't have the focus, and I'm one of those obsessive type people, like so hard driven on one thing, and I can't focus on too many things at one time. So I'm like, okay, these are the four pillars for me, but focus is the thing that allows me to do all those. Do you have like a setup or structure for your day that radically has changed your life?
Yeah, I have a setup, but I'll give you the belief because our
Mm,
beliefs drive our behaviors.
I like that.
So I always go back to belief. So my belief is, so I'll tell you what most people believe. Most people believe if I get busy, it is gonna be at the expense of my family.
Mm,
That's the belief. So if I get busy at work, I'm just gonna just for a period of time, my family's gonna get less intentionality with me. Total BS. So
mhm,
I've shifted it. So the busier I get, the more intentional I become. So major belief system shift that completely transformed the way I operate. So as I scale up hours, I become even more impactful and more intentional with my kids. I'm writing them notes. I'm finding creative ways to connect with them. I'm way more intentional when I'm busier now than when I wasn't. But most guys' excuse is when they get busy, it's like, yeah, family stuff's just going to fall off for a period of time and then I'll get back to it. It's like, nope, that doesn't have to happen. And so that's a game changer. So when I get busy, man, I wake up a little earlier. I commit to a morning chunk where I can spend time and play football with my 10-year-old. So I'm doing these specific things. So that's the mindset. The second thing is the morning routine all day long. I'm a big morning routine guy. I have my four pillar morning routine. I wake up at about 5, read the Bible, get my coffee, look at my goals. I pray, and then I go to the gym for about 45 minutes, and then invest in my relationship with my wife and then my kids. So today I played football with my 10-year-old, had a one-on-one conversation with my wife in the morning. So I fill up everybody's cups by the time they leave, and then I
mm.
go to work.
That's amazing. Two questions.
Yeah.
Two questions, and then I think we're gonna wrap this up. Um, Question number one: wouldn't you just make this like, because we had the event at your estate, right?
Yeah. Oh,
So
you were
like,
there when yeah. Have you been to the headquarters yet, the new one?
no, no, I didn't know
Dude,
you
you
guys
got
had
to come,
headquarters.
man. Wait, you haven't been to the Forge either, have you?
No, not at the Forge. I just did the
Dude, you
refinery.
gotta, that's the most epic event of all of our 60 events is the
Really?
Forge. Yeah, dude,
Okay.
world class. You thought the 3-day refinery was epic. The 5-day Forge will blow your mind and transform like, yeah, at a whole nother level. But yeah, now we have our 15,000 square foot facility that we run all the events out of. But we were doing it at our property. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was
Yeah.
like, this is phenomenal. Like now I look at properties and I'm like, hmm. I'm like, we just need three people a month to pay for the mortgage, and then the overhead will cover itself. And
There we go.
I'm imagining that's kind of how you look through it, and you're like, taxes. What taxes? I'm just writing
Exactly.
on the, you know.
Exactly.
Now that I have the tax problems and we solve all the tax problems, that's like what our core is. We solve all the tax issues and stuff for high income earners. Like now I look at everything to tax. I'm like, oh, I don't want to pay taxes anymore.
Yeah.
So, last question as we wrap this up. What are some core beliefs? Like if you had to give like five core beliefs to men that are just like that have transcended your life, because you said beliefs create behavior, and I believe that wholeheartedly as well. And I
Yeah.
think behavioral change is one of the most powerful thing that you can give someone. So I think the beliefs are the first part of that.
Yep. Yep. So, question is, what beliefs?
What beliefs you think most men don't have that they should have to help them get to the next level in their life?
Man, that's a hard one because there's hundreds of thousands of beliefs and belief systems at work in our brain at every moment, and everybody's a little bit different. I'd say a couple of the core beliefs that don't work
That's
is,
good.
and what I found most men have is, I'm not worthy, which shows up as people pleasing and trying to get the approval of other people. So it's like a core deep down belief, whether they were bullied at school or whether they were struggled finding friends or acceptance or whatever it may look like, or their parents were really critical of them. They then have this little chink, this little belief that says, "Hey, maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe I'm not like fully worthy. Maybe I'm not because like I'm not accepted." So I'm gonna go prove my worthy. I'm gonna go prove my worth. I'm gonna go build a big business. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do this so I can be successful. And so that stuff eventually falls apart for people later on down the road. So I think that belief, when in reality, if you're a Christ follower, like you are worthy, you are redeemed, and like that's the core of your identity. So I believe that belief that I am worthy and valuable, and I don't need the acceptance and the approval of other human beings, just of God, is like a really impactful belief. Um, and then another belief that may not work well for people is, um, well, that money is the root of all evil. That's a Christian belief that does not work
Yeah.
well because it's the love of money that's at the root of all evil. So money's great and it's fantastic and it works well and it keeps everything moving. So that's an ineffective belief. Yeah, that's a hard one, man. There's so many. When I meet a person, I can real quickly start to understand their belief systems by listening to their words because our
Yeah.
words really they expose the belief systems that someone has, and so I can
Right.
gain clarity on which ones they have and which ones aren't working inside their life. But if something's not working in someone's life, it's always due to some belief or some lie that they've picked up on, that they're not worthy, they're not good enough, or that that success will make them happy, financial success. I mean, there's all kinds of lies that we grip onto.
Yeah.
But I think what we should do as human beings is continuously get curious about what our beliefs are and how do we know if we have a default ineffective belief is if there's an emotion that we're feeling that's not serving us, depression, anxiety, anger, sadness. If we have this emotion that's showing up in our day, there is always a belief or some story or some meaning that we can reverse engineer back to
Mm,
be able to see. And so I'd say that's one of the best tools a human being can have is journaling and getting curious about, man, that really created some insecurity in me. I wonder what belief I have or what story I made up about that person or about myself.
mm. I love that. I absolutely love that. I mean, yeah, I see the same thing in a lot of the things now is like I look at the symptom and I can find the cause.
Yep.
So the symptom exposes the cause,
Yep.
right? And so I
Yep.
hear what you're saying 100%. I love that. What's next for Rise Up Kings and you guys?
Yep, we're just on a heavy mission. Our goal, we have a goal of reaching 100,000 people within the next 9 years, and so we're aggressively working towards that, and just yeah, building connections with the right, well, with everybody right now. Just a heavy influence moment in time. So launching new events. We're doing events all over the country now. Different events for churches, for pastors. Uh, so yeah, expansion.
I love that, man. I love it. I love it. It's actually fires me up, man. I really, when I hear the targets like that, I'm like, yes, let's go.
Yeah,
I appreciate you so much, my man. You rock. Yeah, love it. Love it. Thank you so much.
yeah, 100%.
See you, man. Bye bye.